Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2019 coverage of the King of the Canyons Return of the King, sponsored by Dellwood Disc Golf and Pollyanna Brewing Company. I'm David Hopkins, here with Steve Ratchin. And Steve, who can you tell us is on the card today besides that man, Robert McCall?
We're going to have 5 players on the card today: Kyle Opfer, Dan Schlitter, Zack Finwall, Mike Conlee, and the man in that jump putt himself, Robert McCall.
Thank you, and we are starting on course hole number 13, tournament hole number 1. A few different ways to access this hole, either a backhand or a forehand, but what you want to make sure you do is check up before you hit this fast green, and we are going to have Kyle Opfer throwing a forehand, looking good. Looks like it gets down the majority of the fairway.
Yeah, hits clean, checks up inside the circle. Dan Schlitter, no stranger, the sidearms himself. Miscue, hits the middle gap.
Yeah, it looks like it wasn't the gap he was going for, but does get down the fairway and leaves himself with a putt.
Zack Finwall, local player, making the final 9 in his 3rd Open tournament. Sidearm, ghost stump.
Yeah, I didn't see whatever it was that he hit, but he hit it, and he's going to be left with just getting up and down for a 3.
And as you heard that, Mr. Curl himself, Mike Conlee's on the card today. Haynes a little left side, hits a tree, but he's in layup zone. And Robert McCall with the only backhand of the card. Hits middle gap, hits secondary tree, kicks himself in an alright position.
Yeah, alright enough to get up and down, and it looks like most of these players are going to be just pitching up and down.
Robert sending the invites to the layup party. So Dave, let's talk about the format of the tournament that we are watching right now. This is round 4, where after each round, the field was cut in half. And now that we're down to a final 5 players with $3,000 added cash to the event, last place is winning over $900. First place, over $2,500. So no matter what happens, every player in this card has already won more money than they ever had in a disc golf tournament before.
But it must be noted that that's a huge gap between $900 for last place and $2,400 for first. So every single one of these putts counts, as you see Zack Finwall putting in for his 3.
And it looks like the rest of our competitors are going to tap in for 3 as well. And the beauty of this event, after every single round, the scores reset. So going into this final round, it didn't matter what happened in round 3. Every player is sitting an even par. And after one hole, all 5 players are sitting at even par.
And there you have it. After one hole of play, all of our competitors are still at even par. And we're going to move on to hole 2 of the tournament round and also hole 2 of the course. Steve, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, 2 long here. Downhill shot, 365 feet with an out-of-bounds creek on the left-hand side. If you're going to make an error on this hole, you want to make an error on the right-hand side.
Kyle Opfer taking that wide hyzer. Looks like he does get caught up in one of the few trees on the right-hand side, and he's going to be left with just an up and down for that 3.
Dan Schlitter looks like he's going hellfire here, playing low to take a skip, but doesn't get the ground play he was looking for.
Yeah, he's going to be left with maybe 70 feet. He could possibly give that a go.
And with the flippiest Firebird ever made, Zack Finwall flips a little too right, gets hung up by the tree, but you know what? He's in bounds. Can't be upset about that.
Here's Mike Conlee with an Explorer. Looks like, oh no, a little bit of an early release. Oh, and there's that graphic we don't want to see. The OB. He's going to be shooting 3 from out of bounds on the left side. Let's just hope he got that disc back.
And with the cleanest line of the bunch, scoots inside 22 feet. Robert McCall with really the only real birdie look on this hole.
Here's Mike Conlee. His third shot does hit a tree. He's going to be left with even a tester for that bogey 4.
And this is heading a little to left. It looks like it scoot down the hillside, but no graphic. Trusting that stayed in bounds. And here's the play you really want. Taking a rhino, right-hand side, funnel into the basket, not even testing the hill.
Oh, and there's Dan Schlitter. Definitely a little upset that he had a layup, but he knows what's at stake, and he knows where he stands, and a good layup from Dan.
Mike not able to connect with the up and down, takes the double bogey 5.
Ooh, and Robert with the only clean look for 2. Just chains out right side, and here's Kyle for his 3.
This basket's a little unforgiving right now. So that's Kyle taking a bogey 4, and Dan upset about the layup. Now just took a stroke on Kyle and 2 strokes on Mike.
There you go. Pinball, just cleaning up his par.
Bogey for Kyle, double bogey for Mike. So after 2 holes of play, you would expect the scoring spread on that hole to come with some birdies. But no, just took some out of bounds and missed putts. We're going to have Dan, Zach, and Robert all tied at even par. Kyle 1 up, Mike at 2 up. And hole 3 long here, 450 feet, but do not be deceived. This plays uphill almost the entire way. Probably plays over 500 foot power. You have out of bounds path left. You have out of bounds amphitheater right.
And first on the tee is Dan Schlitter putting a crush of a forehand, a little bit of turnover on it.
That is so far.
And gets a full flight. He is left maybe outside circle 2, about 80 feet, I'd say.
That was so far. Can Zach replicate? Oh no. This is leaking right hand side. It's got to get past the out of bounds. Looks like he funneled into the amphitheater area.
Yep, that is it.
And Robert McCall just obviously has a game plan. Throw it up the gut 300 feet. Throw a pitch shot up another maybe 200 or less feet. And yeah, it looks like he's executing that game plan.
And Kyle actually has the power to reach this green. He can throw no internet distance over 500 feet on flat ground. Takes the riskier right gap inside circle 2.
There you go. And last and certainly not least, Mr. Curl Mike Conlee going with a little bit of a flex forehand. Gets up there more than halfway, so definitely a easy little pitch shot for him.
Exactly what Mike needed after taking the double bogey. He puts himself in the fairway and in prime position to get a birdie on hole 3. Robert McCall with that nice game plan. Fairway, Warden shot on the green.
Team Warden, watch out.
Self-appointed captain himself. I love that play by Mike.
Yeah, just a little flex forehand. Secure a 3 for him. A little step putt action for Kyle Opfer. Nearly crest the top of the basket, but ultimately just a little short drop in 3. He's happy about that.
And layup number 3 for Dan. Oh, that's not what we want to see. And Zach there, he doesn't know what's happening. He's throwing grass up in the air. He's like, did the tailwind drop me? Did I not get enough height? But Robert gets enough height. Easy birdie. Secures himself, for now, in the lead.
There's a good putting stroke after Zach just missed for his circle 4. He's going to drop in for a 5 there. Up for Schlitter and Mike, I believe, drop in for a 3.
Yeah, tap in birdies there. And after 3 holes of play, Dan and Robert are up 1 on the rest of the card. Kyle Ufford in 3rd place. Zach and Mike in 4th place. Now we are on the hole 4 lawn here, and players need to decide how aggressive they're going to get. You can take a low backhand or sidearm to put yourself right where the drone's at now for an easy pitch up for a 3. Or there's this high top left shelf turnover that can put you in the green or put you in the creek.
Yeah, it looks like Dan's taking that low forehand, put himself in a very good position just to get up and down, maybe left with a little less than 100 feet, but more than likely just to pitch up to grab that 3.
And Utto is right. A little close to the creek, can't come out of it. Out of bounds for Robert
there's
there.
That graphic we do not want to see. Robert is going to be throwing 3 from maybe only about a third of the way up the fairway.
And that's the aggressive route we were talking about by Kyle. He has the power to go for it, but it looks like it stalls, hyzers out early, almost hits the crowd. But, hey, that's a fantastic spot to be in.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely an easy up and down, possibly a putt for a 2. Mike trying to replicate that, maybe a little more turn, and he does it beautifully. There it is, Mike Conlee with that perfect turn. Make sure he doesn't keep that nose too pointed down and, skips forward towards the basket.
Zach looked like he kind of goes in between, hits the high-hanging tree, and hyzers into the woods left. There's not going to be a look to the green from there.
Definitely a tricky up and down for a 3. I'm going to go ahead and say it's more so pitch out, up and down for a 4, but we still have a few holes left, and maybe Zach can pull something out of his sleeve.
That's what he's left with, just a pitch up. Notice how he has to go away from the green and to have an angle into the green there. Fantastic upshot by Mike, inside 15 feet. We're looking back at Zach's 3rd shot already, and we haven't even gotten to Schlitter shot yet.
Schlitter or Opfer. So there's Zach. He's going to be dropping in his 4, no problem. Here's Opfer, a chance to get a 2, but he wasn't really running that, just more so get me up there. He knows he's getting at least a stroke or 2 on a couple of the competitors, so he's happy with that.
Oh, no. For the 4th layup in a row, Dan goes super layup. That's a lot shorter than he wanted.
Super layup gives himself a little bit of a tester, as does Robert, but I think Robert's a little closer. Here's Dan's slight tester for that 3. See if he can put it in the center chains.
Oh, this needs to sit? Oh, it does. Unfortunate to miss the putt, but fortunate to stay in bounds.
That's a good 3 for Mike Conlee.
Now, after Mike took that double bogey 5, it's good to see him right the holes. Gets the birdie on 3, birdie on 4, erases that double bog. Now he's back in action.
And keeping it clean, except that bogey stroke from Robert. I'm sorry, I forgot he went out of bounds, so that's a bogey for Robert.
And Zach taps in the par after he had the pitch out of the woods there. And big swing here on hole 4. If Kyle could connect on the simple birdie putt, oh, no problem at all. So after 4 holes of play, we are going to find Kyle Opfer and Dan Schlitter tied at the lead at 1 under par. Robert McCall and now Mike Conlee tied for 2nd at even. And Zach only 2 strokes behind the lead, but he's losing holes left to play. And we are on to a beautiful par 4 here, Dave. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, one of the best holes on the course, in my opinion. We're playing 6A long. The first shot, you can go big forehand or big backhand. There is a Mando about 400 feet up on the right. We're going to see Kyle take that big backhand. Oh, if he goes just to the right or the left of that tree, he's got a chance. But yeah, the landing zone is about 400 feet up there. Let's hope we see Mike fillet this fairway.
Perfect. There we go. Players are just looking to foul that wood chip path, and almost on a rope, we see Mike do that.
Yeah, and that's setting himself up beautifully for that second shot to get the birdie 3.
Is Dan going sidearm here?
He's got the power.
Oh, this has a good line on it. Does it have enough juice? Whew, he does.
So yeah, that Mando is about 420. I don't know.
I'd say 420
about
off
420 off the tee. A little downhill, but a huge sidearm from Schlitter, and Zack sees that and wants to do the same, but it looks like he gets caught up.
Yeah, he hit some limbs, and here's the tough part with the sidearm. He never missed the Mando, but he's on the right-hand side. He has to waste a shot just to pitch around to then attack the green. Oh, and he loves it. Up the gap, lands on the left-hand side, and that is where the best angle is into the green.
No doubt. You can throw a backhand from there. You can throw a forehand from there, but yeah, ending up on that left side, like you said, it's pretty ideal. After Opfer hits a tree early, puts himself in a good spot just to get up and down. He's looking for a 4 at that point.
Smart play by Kyle. And a rare forehand by Robert. But the interesting part all weekend, every time he threw a sidearm, it was great. And I'm only saying that because Robert McCall himself says, I rarely ever throw sidearms. It was a good weekend for him.
Yeah, and there's Zack just pitching around that Mando. You see Mike Conlee. As long as that's set. Oh, here's the catch cam.
I don't see a graphic yet. Oh, there it is.
Oh, he did leak. So yeah, it does leak a little to the left, and he is out of bounds, unfortunately.
You know, he'll take the out of bounds penalty, but he'll have a 10-foot putt for the 4 from there. Oh no, Kyle in good position to get up and down, hits an early tree.
Zack's third.
Oh no, Haynes that rain of gators a little too left, hits a tree outside the circle. And then Schlitter takes the shortcut over the mound, underneath the basket. Easiest birdie 3 you ever see in this hole.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down.
Oh, sit baby, sit baby. Hey, no graphic. I'm assuming that's in. And what a clutch putt by Kyle there. Hits the early tree in the upshot, but from 35 feet cans the par putt. Got a mountain man there climbing the tree to get back up.
There's Zack throwing in for his bogey 5.
And Robert with the beautiful sidearm upshot. Tap-ins birdie. And Dan Schlitter, trick shot. Ooh.
Oh, I've never seen that one before. I've seen many trick shots in my day, but not the wrap around the basket drop in.
So there we go. Dan Schlitter with that birdie is now in the lead on this card at 2 under par. Kyle and Robert at 1 under. And we are going to be moving on to 6E, 258 feet. Very straightforward.
Very straightforward and very aceable, if I might add. In previous year's coverage, we've seen quite a few ace runs, so let's hope we see one here.
Looks like a little high left. Gets past the guardian tree. Ooh, that scoots outside the circle, though.
It's also interesting to see how low this basket stands compared to most, or compared to your average basket. So,
talk about ace runs.
ooh,
I like the look of that. Inside the circle, 15-foot putt for 2. And oh no.
oh yeah, you could tell that was just a little bit of a pull from Kyle Opfer.
This needs to sit down. It's a little too high.
Yeah, but he's left with a circle's edge putt, maybe 30 to 35 feet.
Yeah, last competitor on the card, Zack Finwall. Looks like he's got a star rat. Hits the line perfectly.
That's going to be
Hey,
part.
that's a great shot.
Fantastic.
Yep, great shot by Zack Finwall there.
He's one of the better rat throwers I've ever seen.
Oh, no doubt.
I remember playing a tournament with him last year, right when the disc came out, and he's like, hey, I've thrown it a couple times and loved it. Every single time he threw it, he got a birdie with it.
There's those people that love the rat, live and die by it, and he's one of them.
Ooh!
Nice putt, Dan Schlitter, from about 35 feet or so.
What a saucy putt. Oh, and that's what Dave was referencing to. This basket hangs low to the ground. It seems like a lot of putts end up low hitting cage like that. There's the correction. Good comeback putt, Mike.
There you go, Mike. No doubt about it. Did you ever think you would miss that? Robert McCall from about 22 feet.
Needed that to stay within one of Dan. Kyle Opfer, can he get the up and down? Yes, he can.
It's a good scramble. That's like his second or third scramble in a row from Opfer.
And with the closest shot of the card, Zack Finwall.
Make sure he takes his time and puts it in. Nice putt, Zach.
I love that he did take his time there, even though it was about a 12-footer. He's like, let me make sure I'm going to make this.
So we have Dan Schlitter in the lead, followed by Robert McCall. Kyle Opfer right behind them. And we are moving on to hole number 7. 314 feet, just a big hyzer. Make sure you don't miss short left. Make sure you don't hit any of these boulders. Just, yeah.
Dan plays it out wide like he should, but this is coming into the green quickly. Ooh, that's the one thing that could happen on this hole. There's a steep drop off on the left-hand side. Wonder how far down the hill he ended up going.
Looks like Robert puts a good amount of hyzer on it. As long as he misses those boulders. Oh, and he does.
Now, great correction from Robert in round 2 of this event. He ended up about 50 short in that green bush you can see in the center of our screen. And now he's parked.
That's right there.
Zach's shot makes the green. He's going to have another birdie opportunity. And Kyle Opfer.
Yeah.
That looks good.
He loves it out of the hand.
Woo! Flashes a little bit of the basket. Ends up maybe 12 feet deep. He's going to be happy to most likely drop in a 2.
Oh, looks like Mike slipped on the tee pad. Didn't get the power. Now, fortunate to stay out of the bush area, but he's looking at about a 45-foot uphill putt.
Yeah, if he lands even 5 feet shorter than he is, there's absolutely no chance he even has to putt at that. So he landed in a decent enough spot to give him a chance, but ultimately just lands short. Oh, and there's a pretty big air ball by Zach. Oh, did he land all the way down there?
He went all the way down the hill.
Looks like it. Wow. Almost went straight birdogey there from Zach, unfortunately. Has a decent chance at a birdie 2 and goes all the way down the hill as Dan Schlitter puts it in for the birdie 2. Nice putt, Dan.
Dan, the man, he is on a roll. 4 down through 7 holes. Robert needs to match this to stay within 1. Oh, that he does. And after that ace run by Kyle, taps him the birdie 2, staying in contention. And now with only 2 holes left, we have about 2 different battles here. Kyle, Robert, and Dan are all within 1 stroke of each other, where Mike and Zach, they've fallen off the pack, but now they're battling for 4th and 5th.
At least a couple $100, right?
I want to say last place, $900. 4th place, about $1,100.
Yeah,
so they're still fighting for over $200 difference.
That's right. We're moving on to hole number 8 of the tournament. An interesting hole. It kind of a split fairway.
Yeah, we're playing the newer B pin here, where players can opt to go outside hyzer, which is the normal fairway, but they have to play a spike over the trees, or a left route where OB comes into play. I don't know if Dan decided on either of them. It looked like he threw right in the middle.
Yeah, he threw dead center. He's going to be pitching out and hopefully working for a 4. Robert, on the other hand, knows he just wants to throw it straight and then use his Heiser ability to get it up and around the tree. I believe we're going to see 1 or 2 of these guys go to the left-hand gap that we were referring to earlier, but Kyle Opfer.
Holy smash. To put that into comparison, Robert threw 425. That went about 460, 470.
And here's this left gap we were talking about that we're going to see Mike go for.
Needs the turn.
So that's a beautiful shot for this left side.
And so by going left side, you put OB into play, but you give yourself a much easier second shot for the birdie 3.
Yeah, which makes this hole just... I think it's a great hole with this left side out of bounds. And
Come on back now. Get your job. Come on back.
So Zach opts to go sidearm. This is... Oh, don't get caught up. Oh, it does. The evergreen snags him and keeps him out of bounds. Now, he's out of bounds. He still has an opportunity to get up and down. But this looks way too wide, David.
yeah, he threw wide again. He's going to be lucky if he stays inbounds in that shot.
Looked like he did. And now this is Dan Schlitter's shot.
Must be his 3rd. He had a pitch out.
He did have the pitch out. You know, he grabbed the grass right by the basket. He'll settle for a par. And here's the other fairway. Easier drive, but you have to play a stall spike shot over the trees to a blind basket.
And here's Mike's second shot playing the left-hand side of the fairway. It looks like he flashed the basket, but comes up a little short. He's going to have a good look for that birdie 3.
Look at how high Kyle has to throw this just to get over, and well played, spikes within 15 feet. Man, the second right side chain out from Robert this round. Mike playing the hole to perfection with the left gap, gets the easy birdie. And if you guys hear in the background, there's a local rooster cheering these players on. Every time we play the B pin over here, there's a rooster that just seems to time perfectly with our putts.
Especially the big ones, the birdie putts.
Oh, wait. Bogey putts, he doesn't care. But birdie putts, he's cheering them on the whole way. And now Zach, after the out of bounds, and I believe he's tapping in for
5 or 6.
6 here. Double bogey.
Bogey 6. That's unfortunate for him. He may have just lost it to Mr. Curl Mike. I think after that.
One thing to notice, though, Kyle Opfer got the birdie as well, tying himself with Robert McCall, putting himself within 1 stroke of Dan. So we're on to our final hole. We're going to be playing 12 long to the B pin. It plays 541 feet. However, it is downhill and very reachable for our competitors. However, today, there were some strong swirly winds that our players had to combat.
We're still going to see some huge drives out of these. This one looks like it's Heiser in a little bit.
Looks like it's heading towards the A pin. There, so you see the garbage bag pin. We're not in play. Spectators looking like, wait, should I be standing here? A drive just came by. They're not playing that basket. Mike Conlee, that's left as well. Oh, almost hits Eris, our spectator, and he's looking around like, I don't think I should stand here, but they're going to the wrong pin.
Ooh, and Dan trying to correct a little bit. Instead of taking that left side gap, goes for the right, but a little too overturned for him. His second shot's going to be extremely important. And Robert doing the same thing as the first 2 guys that threw, leaving it short and left.
That is a very difficult spot to be in. Zach, seeing every competitor go left, turns this a little bit too much, but gets the full flight down the fairway. That's what I was expecting all of our competitors to do. Zach's like, you know what? I'm bottom of the card. I'll show you what's up.
That's right. And we are going to be moving to Dan. This is Relatively important upshot for Dan. He really needs to get up and down to give himself a chance.
Oh, wow. So the door is open now for Robert and Kyle.
You know Robert's not going to screw that up. He places it gently right next to the basket.
I mean, it's a ward in his hand. He's not going to mess that one up. Kyle running, tree, still kicks inside the circle. Good spot to be. And at this point, Mike knows that by laying up, no matter what Zack does, he's securing fourth place. He's too far out to reach our top three guys. And Zack, he's just trying to throw that in. He's like, doesn't matter what I do, it's going to be for the crowd. It's going to be for the show. I respect that. And what we miss here, Dan quickly went up and said, I'm laying this up, forcing Robert and Kyle to make their putts to go into a playoff.
Yeah, Kyle.
And there's Kyle putting in for his birdie 3.
Mike with the birdie 3. Strong showing the last couple holes to secure fourth place. Robert needs to make this to make a 3-way playoff with Kyle and what we would suspect Schlitter. There we have it.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
So yeah, here we go. Let's listen to Sean Callahan.
Yeah, so the first time in King the Canyon's history, we have a 3-way playoff for first. Now, here's the interesting part, actually. All 3 competitors came together and they decided, you know what, we've played all weekend. Let's split top 3 cash. So all 3 competitors are earning over $2,000 each, but they're playing for pride. They're playing for the trophy.
The throne.
Playing for the throne.
And Kyle Opfer. We're at hole 1 long, coming in at 342 feet. Essentially just a relatively routine hyzer for these guys. And Kyle Opfer does it to perfection.
And it was interesting to hear from Robert. He said, you know what, once we decided that we were all going to split the cash, there was the first moment all weekend I felt free. And I can just casually throw and parks the hole.
It's a beautiful shot by Robert. Let's see if Dan can match it a little right side. Look at that skip up and around for Dan Schlitter. This is a pretty important putt for Dan. Not a problem.
There we go. Dan in for the birdie too. And he looks around. He's like, should I just pick these 2 up? Like, you guys are parked. Fantastic
It is not
shots.
PDGA sanctioned, so I bet he could have done that with ease and nobody would have had an issue. But just in case, we're gonna tap him in.
Tap, tap. And we're moving on to hole 2 short. Now, we played this for our second hole for this round. From the elevated lawn tee, we're now down level with the basket, probably about 280 feet away.
Still got to worry about that skip. Make sure you don't skip to the out of bounds on the left. Kyle probably wants a little more hyzer out of this. He's left with a death putt from at least 38, maybe 45 feet.
Yeah, outside circle 1, Robert just pierced the line for the second time today.
It's a little deep. I think he might have went with a fairway driver. I feel like with Robert's type of throw, he probably should have went with a mid-range.
And Schlitter goes mid-range wasp, but we get the wave from the spectator. Hits the tree, stays on top. He's got a chance. He has a similar distance to what he laid up earlier in the round 4, but there's no point in laying up now.
This is all for the throne.
Oh, it's a little right-hand side. 40 feet, death putt, all or nothing. What's Kyle going to do?
Going for it.
Dead in the heart of the center of the chains. Let's see this rewind. There we go. Puts the pressure on Robert McCall. And here we have Robert McCall from 25 feet.
To push the playoff. Oh, and he cannot connect.
That's going to leave Kyle Opfer, our 2019 King of the Canyons.
Yeah, huge congratulations to Kyle, an up-and-coming Discmania, a newly sponsored Discmania Pro. Good to see him take down an event like this, take home the throne, and take home over $2,000. He can't believe it, and I'm just extremely happy for the kid.
And there's our other man of the hour on screen, Sean Callahan. Cannot thank him enough with Delwood Disc Golf and Pollyanna Brewing Company for putting this event on.
Also, a huge thanks to Ryan Nick of Nick Productions for putting this video out. For Steve Ratchin, I'm David Hopkins. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.